Hey everyone,
Welcome back to Dear Future Freshman. I'm Kitty,
and I'm Bella,
and today we're interviewing Merrick Bridges.
a senior.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Merrick. I've been at Rockbridge County High School for 4 years, and I'm on today's podcast.
Yay!
We're so excited to have you.
So, Merrick, where did you go for your freshman year?
Rockbridge County High School.
What middle school did you go to?
I went to Stewart Middle School in Verona, Virginia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was it hard to adjust to Rockbridge from not knowing literally anyone?
Definitely, yeah, but I also kind of took it as an opportunity after COVID to kind of have a fresh start and meet new people and make new friends because I felt really isolated during the pandemic. So when I went to Rockbridge, it was like a whole new slate. Everybody was new. Everybody was fine, you know?
Yeah, I think we all felt really isolated in COVID. At least I know I did. For sure.
Did you make friends quickly or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I found my people really quickly, even if they aren't the people that I'm friends with today. Friends come and go, especially during the high school, middle school years, so you just gotta kind of adjust to that. But it was a fun few days, my first few days here.
Yeah. Was it hard to make a whole new friend group, or because everyone was new, it was easier?
It was a little difficult just seeing that everybody knows everybody here. They all have different opinions on other people, and I, having no knowledge whatsoever, was just who do I like, who do I not like, who do I like to be friends with these people, and that was hard. But as long as I kind of kept everything separate, it should have been fine.
Did you have any major challenges that you had
Throughout your entire
entire high school?
Entire high school experience? I mean, I feel like that's a very broad question because everybody has a lot of challenges. I think my main challenge, especially sophomore, junior year, was really just getting used to people knowing me again.
Because you were isolated?
Well, because I was the new kid.
Oh.
Nobody knew anything about me, and so for a while, I was more the new kid persona. But then once I kind of opened up and people saw me for who I was, I started to have those opinions that people had and, form my own thoughts on other people that I didn't have previously. And I think that was the hardest social adjustment for me.
Yeah.
How did you really did you make a change, or do you think people really just adapted to who you were?
I definitely made a change, but I think in that if your friends don't adapt to who you are, then they're not really your friends.
That's a really cool outlook on life. Yeah, they gotta match your vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you taken any extracurriculars or clubs throughout your experience?
I actually haven't, which is kind of
Oh,
insane
really?
to me.
Seriously?
I really haven't. I kept to myself freshman and sophomore year, because I really just didn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I
valid.
feel like I was not in the place to be doing that. And also I don't think I was very educated on how to approach people about that. So, but then junior and senior year, I did have ideas of things that I wanted to do, but it just didn't really mix well with my home schedule. But I did do theater, choir, and now percussion, which have been my little hobby things now.
Yeah.
Very musical,
Yeah.
And is that your people, you would say?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
me too. The entire music department is just
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like we all know each other in some way. If
Yeah.
you
That's
don't know
true.
a person, you know of them.
right.
And especially in band. I mean, it was such a small group when I first got here, and now it's grown.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
So big, and it's so amazing that everybody knows everybody and everybody has connections to everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, that happens in a normal school way. The people that you grew up with, but in band, it's I know this person, I know this about them, I know this about them, I know this about them. I've never met this person.
Yeah.
I've never met them in my life, but I know of them.
Yeah, I found that there's no one in the music department or also mostly in theater that I don't know.
Yeah.
Or don't know their name, which is pretty cool. What about you, Kitty?
I'll find that even if I don't know a person, I'll at least know like solid like 5 people who know them, which I think is really funny because throughout my freshman year and then a little bit sophomore, I've like individually become friends with people and then realized that they all know each other, and most of them are from band or theater.
Exactly.
Like it's such
Yeah.
a close knit group, and I think that's really cool. Or is there anything like significant, whether in your attitude, I guess, or like the school itself, that's changed over the years you've been here?
Oh, definitely. Yes. I feel like as a school, all the way through junior year, the school was very relaxed. It was a I want to say safe space, but it really wasn't. I feel like Rockbridge has let a lot of things slide throughout the years, which made it this kind of like, yes, it was a pretty defiant school, but it's not like it was bad. You know, that didn't personally affect my experience here. It didn't affect my grades. It didn't affect anything that I was going through. And then senior year, everything cracked down. And everybody seems so tense. And I really don't like the atmosphere this year with staff, with administration, with students, because everybody's mad at each other constantly. Because the students are mad at the teachers for the rules that they're enforcing, but the teachers are mad at the administration because they've got the same rules set in place.
Yeah.
And then administration just wants to help people out, right?
Yeah.
And then they
And there are things that are passed down that are not what people want to do. I feel like even administration doesn't agree with some of the policies that the state is putting in place now, even though they have to enforce them, but they don't have a choice. But overall, I really miss like freshman, sophomore year when people were just kind of chill, you know? Like, sure, there'll be like tension between these two groups and these two people will fight, whatever, blah, 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 but it's like at least we all knew that we were in it together, like,
Yeah.
you know?
That seems really nice. Like built more like a community.
Yeah, and everybody knew what everybody was getting into. There was all this drama that everybody was having at the same time, but I was just kind of there on the sidelines. I mean, I knew everything, I just didn't participate, which I was totally fine with.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to do after high school?
After high school, I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to go to a community college for at least 2 years just to get that under my belt. I'm going to try to enter the workforce in some way. As much as music is something that I'd like to pursue, I don't think that it would be that reliable early on. So I'm going to try to save up at least a little bit of money just to kind of get out of Virginia and move somewhere different. Living here my whole life has been insane because you kind of see the people around you and then you go to another state and everything's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the vibe, the atmosphere, the people, the way that everybody behaves is so contrasted against here, and I love that. And I don't think that I'm made to live here my whole life. So I'm gonna try to do that, but I don't think college is a thing that I want to really go through just yet.
Where do you think you might move or might travel to?
My goal since like 7th grade was England or Ireland.
Yeah,
which
that's cool.
is such a long shot, but I still want to do that eventually. I just don't think that that's a short-term goal. But for right now, I think I would love to move to New York.
That'd be cool.
Upstate New York is such a wonderful place. And I feel like not a lot of people realize that, but it's where my mom grew up, and it's where I want to be now, instead of down south.
Do you have any like specific career you might look into?
I'm really not sure yet. That's been the one like battle throughout my whole high school career. That's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't really have a certain set of skills. I'm not really particularly good at anything. So I have no clue.
I think that's a very common theme, especially like amongst upperclassmen, where like now we have to think about like where we're going to college or like what we want to do, and it's just like some people have an idea, and there's a rare few people who are like, I'm definitely gonna do this and go to this university or live this place. But I think most people are just like, I don't know.
Well, Well, most of the people I've found don't admit that. I mean, they'll
Uh-huh.
make up like an answer, but then you find out they have no clue, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do that just to keep up appearances. You know, if I don't say this, I'm going to sound unprepared. I'm going to sound childish.
Right.
Like I don't have a plan in place. And I feel like it's ridiculous to have your life plan in place at age 18. You've
Yeah.
never been in the world. You're not an adult, you know, legally maybe, but you are not an adult.
Yeah.
So I've always found that a little ridiculous that people will make up an answer just to seem better. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I think also sometimes people do like just say something because that's what they're thinking, but like it's really just uncertain
Yeah.
at this point too.
Definitely.
Are any of the teachers like not necessarily pushing you towards one thing, but giving you ideas or options for what you might want to do after high school?
Not necessarily. I've never been too close with any teachers. There were a few that I've really loved throughout my time here, but I don't really seem to find a path with any recommendations that are given to me. I know being in the music department for this long has been kind of pushy, where it's like, oh, I'd love to do this when I grow up. I'd love to have this as a career, but I feel like it's so difficult to find a reliable music career in life, especially for life,
Yeah.
because, you know, songwriters don't really make a lot.
Well, and even if they do, they have to keep that
Exactly.
steady their entire career.
And that's the same thing with writing. I'd love to write as a career, but I'm not amazing at journalism and this whole deal. And being an author is very difficult, very stressful, especially today in the era of television and the era of streaming. Nobody really reads books. But I would love to go into something like film. I just don't really know if I could.
Do you think you might like look into writing for screenplays or like scripts?
It would be fun. I've dabbled in that in theater, since that's a final project that we do every year. And so I found that I'm not that great at it.
Well, you can always get better at those.
But yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you have to practice at things. You have to get better at things. You have to have a skill set. So that could be an option that I do. I'd love to work in theater as well. I think the arts are meant for me. I don't think I'm meant for a desk job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So I know that you said that there hasn't been like a ton of teachers you've gotten close to, but to the few teachers that you have, how would you say that has helped you in the long run, if anything?
Oh, they were my brightness of the day. They were my light, especially junior year. Junior year was arguably my best year here. I had two teachers that I would go to every day, and I'd be like, oh my god, this is my time. This is the good part of my day, because all of the rest of my classes were not so great. But I find that after the year's over, you kind of grow closer to teachers, and they're not like, not your enemy, but not somebody that's like your teacher anymore. They're your friend, you know. So especially during the winter season, I was going through a lot. It was kind of rough. But those teachers were always kind of there, and their classes were the best part of my day. And that kind of kept me going. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to school, but I've got Miss Armstrong's class, so like I gotta go.
Yeah. Would you say that like
Do you think your year after high school will compare to years before it? Do you think there will be any similarities or?
What do you mean, like after I graduate?
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't know.
I think that it's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Just to not be in this environment anymore. I feel like I've gotten so used to this routine, and now I'm out of it, and I'm on my own. Not really, but you know, I'm doing things for myself instead of school, home, school, home, school, home, go somewhere, school, home. You know, like I think that it will be a good change, but at the same time, I really hope that I'm not isolated again, like I was back in 2020, with no friends and no one to see.
Yeah.
You know,
What's one one particular experience or like a group of particular experiences that has taught you lessons about high school and how to navigate it?
There was one incident with one person who I shall not name, but it was when it was the start of my sophomore year, and I realized that not all people are what they seem. And I feel like I should have realized this before with my experience in life, but people can be your friend, and then they can turn out to be very nasty. And you won't realize that. You won't ever realize that until it's way too late. But then you have to leave them behind, even though they were one of those people that you could always go to and you would always have in your life, or at least you thought. You have to let them go, and they have to leave. And sometimes it's very hard to let go of those people until they graduate, and they are actually out of your life, you know? That's one. That's a good one, I think.
All right. Has there anything in particular that has led you to feel like you learned or like figured out that has led you to feel like you succeeded in high school, or like succeeded at one particular area of high school? Like, I know that's really broad and vague.
It's very broad.
Maybe like excel in something or
Yeah,
your
it's very-
expectation.
Oh, I joined choir last year, and I hadn't sung since I was like 10. I used to sing with my dad at church events and for public charity and stuff, but I grew to really hate that. I grew to really dislike my voice and using it for singing. And when I joined choir in junior year, first it was theater sophomore year, and Miss Fitz came up to me on course night, and she was like, "You need to join choir. Please, you have the voice of an angel. You need to join choir." And I was like, "Okay, you know what? You saying that? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." And when I did, I realized like I have such a tool, and I've never used it. This is something that I can do, that I know that I can do, and that I don't need to feel like I'm constantly working towards.
Do you think that's transferable in other places of life too?
I mean, yeah. I didn't think that I could sing or do music at all, and I think that now that I can, that would be a kind of useful skill at some point, maybe, I'm pretty literate in music as well, so that's also helpful in some situations.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You mentioned that you like writing and that you like singing. Do you think you'll ever like create a musical one day?
That would be so cool. That would be so fun, and I would love to do that. I feel like if I did, I don't know if it would go anywhere, but I would love to write one. If I got the right idea and I needed to write that, I would. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, do you have any advice that you want to tell freshmen that you think will make their high school experience worthwhile?
Talk to people. Know who your friends are, or at least try to. Talk to your teachers. Be friends with your teachers, because most of them are very willing to be friendly with you and other students if you're just not a disruptive person. And even if you are, some teachers are very talkative, some teachers are very nice. And having teachers with you throughout your high school career can be so helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just with like, oh, I need you to write my college recommendation, I need you to recommend me for this, I need you to be my reference, but just getting you through high school, because high school is a horrible, horrendous time that sometimes you are going to want to give up, more than sometimes. But if you keep at it and you talk in class with people, if you make friends, if you are a very friendly person, generally people will like you.
Yeah.
People don't like people that stand out occasionally, or not occasionally. People don't like people that stand out generally, but I think it's great to stand out.
Stand out in what way?
I think it's wonderful to express yourself through how you look, through how you talk, through what you do. As long as it's not harming yourself or others, you do you. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's really great advice. I think I wish I knew that.
All
I think
right.
that's a really good note to end on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you later on Dear Future Freshman podcast.